Welcome to another repair video. In this video I will be looking at an Autel DS708 scan tool. The problem with it is when the connector is joined at the top, if I flex it back and forth when it's connected to the car, the unit shuts down. I would imagine it's a loss of either the ground or the supply from the car. This takes its supply voltage and ground from the car to be able to work. It hasn't got its own independent power source inside. I have checked continuity from each pin from this side to this side, and I do have continuity. However, what I can't check is the contact area inside these pins. It's where the contacts go around the pin of the connector, the male connector, which is on here. If you see, I don't know if you're picking it up, they are protruding out there. They're male type connectors, and they will have to go into the holes on this plug, so you can get that to focus, and the pin slides in, and there's copper each side, and if they open at all like that, you will get a bad contact. That's not easy to check with just a multimeter doing a continuity check. So what I have to do here is strip down the unit and find the pins on the PCB, and that way I can check both the contact area and the wire on the cable. Okay, right, we'll start by stripping it down. First we have to take out off these rubber grips each side, and they just lift up, and there's a slot inside. You might be able to pick that up with the camera, you might see it there, and in the back it's the same thing. So you just got to get a screwdriver, or maybe a trim removal tool that you see in the auto trade for removing trim, and then that just slides off. And the same with the other one. If you've got two good hands, you might be able to lift both sides and pull, but I've tried that myself and I can't. Okay, once it starts it out, and you should note they only go one way. Let's see, can I get a bit of light in here? This side here goes to the front. The bottom part of this goes to the front. If you can see, it's flat. And if I just turn it over here, you'll see the difference. There's a little bit of a hollow in this one. That goes to the back. And it's the same with both of them. There is two screws hid behind this. I have this loosened already, this sticker, but you'd know, just use a hairdryer. Use a hairdryer on, and you'll be able to get something like this, and try and bring it up without tearing it, so you don't lose your serial number, which is what you need for updating your scan tool on the Autel website. If you ever lose it, that number is assigned to you if you have registered it already, which I would make an assumption if you have one of these, you have. I should take out the SD card before I take all the screws out, just in case it catches in the cover. And the pins I'm going to test on this is the grounds 4 and 5, and the power pin 16. That's because they're the ones that power this up from the battery of the car, and any of the others wouldn't shut it down. You would have a common problem. Okay, that's off. There's no cables going onto the back cover, so you don't have to worry about that. On this version, I would assume there's different versions of this. This is MaxiDas DS708 V340. That's wrote on the PCB. Okay, I'm going to plug the connector in. I'm not going to tighten these up. Well, let's do it. Let's do it this way. See what happens. Tighten it up as you would when you're using it. Okay. And pins 4 and 5, if you can see them, the grounds on this is the ones that protrude a little bit further than the rest of them. And they both go back to one pin on this board. We still got continuity there, as you can tell. Let's try pin 5, and it goes back to the same pin. This end, nothing. Okay, that's okay there. Find pin 16. And 16 is this one here on the extreme top right hand side. I'm just going to put a crocodile clip on it to hold it on. Okay, which one is it on here? Okay, that's it there. And as you can see, just moving it a slight bit, makes it come and go. What I'm going to do now is check this connector, see if there anything broke. If the pin here is broke, pin 16 pin on this is broke, we could have that problem. But also, if the pin contact inside this lead is slightly open or tarnished, that could give that problem. What I'm going to do is first, which would be easiest, is I'm going to use some switch cleaner on the contacts of the lead and push it in out a couple of times. See, does that clear it? Sometimes you're lucky, because these scan tools do be out in all types of weather and some very harsh environments. It's not like your standard piece of electronic equipment. Spraying some switch cleaner on it. It's I wouldn't spray that switch cleaner on the PCB here, just in case it goes down onto the LCD screen and causes staining on the front of the screen. We don't want that. Okay, let's see what happens now. That did not cure it. It's as tight as it will be. Okay, I'm going to see, can I look closer into this, get some light on it, and I'm also going to check this connector, the far side of that connector, and then I'll rerun the tape. Okay, I've checked my connector here, and I have been working on the contacts in here. I had a very fine needle trying to clean it out with a bit of switch cleaner, just in case there's tarnish that is just not removing that quick. I've done that, and I have been checking then my pin here. I didn't put on the pin here on the end. It's always harder to do on camera. That's connected to the relevant pin. And as you can see, it's steady. You get an odd bit where I'm not making contact there. I'm moving it up and down with my right hand, and it's rock steady. The continuity is, so I have to say that connector is okay. I have cleaned this. See what happens. And 16. I'm now connected up to pin 16 of the data link connector plug, and I'm going to go to the relevant pin here. Just double check. I've got good contact here. Wrong side. Okay, connect it back up. Seem to have a good rock steady continuity there now at the moment. While I did check the continuity of this connector beforehand, I just could not check the contact area. It's not possible out of circuit, so you have to open it up. But what I am going to do, I'm going to order a new cable now for this, and because this will only get me out temporarily. Right, okay, so now we're this far. I might as well show you how to strip it down the rest of the way, just to get the board out, if you have to get the board out for some reason. As you've probably seen there, the on-off button just falls out. It just slots back in like that, so make sure he's still in place when you're putting back on the cover. But for now, we're going to take him out of the way. Okay, we're going to just take out our this is not part of the repair. This is just to go if someone wants to dig a little bit deeper. Maybe they want to replace a screen, got a second-hand screen somewhere. This is very gentle, so you have to be very careful with these tabs. I always lift them up as over much an area as possible. I found if you just open up one end of it, it just breaks, the hinge breaks, and then you're in deep trouble. Pull out the cable, which is 4 screws holding in place. I keep them separate, they look like they're smaller ones. When you pull this up, there will be a bit of a sticky area here. It's on this version anyway. So, but you have to be very careful. If you've got a different version of this, they might have a different screen in it. So for this version, it sticks there a little bit, and you can undo the glue. There's a little bit of glue on the. I'll show you now. Just feed the cable through. Make sure that doesn't get caught and tear. And what sticks is this foam pad. It does stick to the back end of the screen. So if you want to look at your connectors at the back, you got your pins at the back there, you can actually check just in case you suspected one of them was broke, which I didn't because they're very sturdy connector. They're bolted in. There's a bolt each side, tightened. I'll check the tightness of them as well, make sure they haven't come loose. All I can see here is a line of what I think is relays, miniature relays, and if you look very closely at them, might be even a bit of a discoloration from the heat of the contacts. I'm making an assumption they're relays, I'm not 100% sure. There's I know when you switch these on first, you do hear clicking. NEC Japan UD2 -4 5NU. That's what's wrong with them. If you Google that, it'll probably tell you what it is. So here we have our screen. This is all to do with your touch screen and your light. You've got a backlight that lights up the screen, and you got your actual your video generator. This is all on this board here, I would imagine. Any problems with your display, I think this is where you would go. You might get that whole part if you search somewhere on eBay, Google it, see what you can find. You never know your luck. Someone might have one of these that are scrapped. The main board is gone, but the screen could be okay. Right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this back together again. First thing we're going to do is feed our cable through. And there's 3 posts, upright posts, 1 here, 2, 3, and there's large holes on the board, and then posts that got to slide into them large holes to line up this board, because that's a screw hole for the back cover, and that is, and if that isn't lined up properly, the board will be bent, and which will cause problems. The board could crack, it'll eventually crack anyway. But you'll also find that you can't get the cover on correctly either. Okay, let's put our screws in. You're going to have a little bit of pressure up on here because that's a pad that they have. Pushing our cables Careful not to damage them. Not too much pressure, you have to be gentle. Make sure your tabs are fully holding there. Make sure this one here is up in the upright position before you put this in. You normally slide down as far as it can go, and likewise, and now try to press down over largest areas as possible on the tab. Okay. Now we put our on off button, and we'll put a cover on. You have a backup battery here as well if you're losing your time and date and all that on it, and your settings. If that's disappeared on you, I would imagine, like a computer, like if you had they call it on a computer CMOS battery, that would retain the memory. If that is gone low, every time you plug out your scan tool, you will lose any of your settings. Like if you set up your name and the date and time on it, you would lose that. So that's not hard for you to replace. The battery type is a CR2032, which is common enough for key fobs. Check your on off button is in place. Works. Put our screws in. Some of the screws did not come out of their holes, so I left them in there. I'm checking there every time with the screwdriver, see there's nothing in its spot, because I didn't take note where the screw stayed. Okay, our SD card in. Click in place. Put our handle grips in, and the flat side goes to the front. I don't think there's an up or a down. Don't see anything that would tell me one up or down. It's in. You'll know if you got this one round because it will be. You'll see it sticking up. It won't be sitting in correctly. Okay. I like to test these then on the bench, make sure they're powered up and we still got a system operating on it. And what I do with that in on here in the bench is there is a power supply that comes with the unit, and I use that to power it up on the bench. Sorry for movement. Okay, we have an operating system. Make sure it's communicating with the card now. That's where everything is on. Okay, there we are. We're back up working. Everything's nice and solid. All I have to do really is, that's a temporary repair, is order a new cable first, find one of them. Might be harder than I expect. I believe you can get them from China, from some of the Chinese websites. Or maybe I'll go to the company that supply Autel in Europe. Okay, right. I hope that helps someone out there to open up one of these and do a little bit of fault finding on it. You could have made an assumption that was your cable there. You could have. You could have just changed the cable, and you would have been right. You wouldn't have to open it up. For me, before I order anything, I like to verify, make sure I'm correct. And the first test I done on the lead was inconclusive because I can't check the contact area of the pins inside the end of the cable. I just can't do that. All I can do is check the continuity of the wire, and with this I think it was a contact area problem more so than a broken wire inside the cable. Okay, right, we'll close this now. Thanks for watching.